folks, I'm here with Mr. Arn Clow and Mr. Will Bush, and we are sitting in the brand new 2021 Mastercraft Prostar. And I gotta say, I love the current product. So when I heard they were revising this thing, I was like, oh, you guys, what? Don't screw it up. And then I heard the details, and I'm so excited about this new product. So all kinds of stuff, right, Arn? I mean, you guys, the whole driver experience is different. The tracking and steering has been completely revised. This is like the most super complicated yet fantastic engine box in the industry. Throw us some highlights, guys. What did you guys do?
Will, you want to start?
Sure. Well, we started. What do we do? We spent 2 years on this now.
And call it. We've been making notes for 7 years now since Marcus and gang did the last one.
Yeah. So we took. I think, John, we took a great product that we had before, and we really looked at what things could we improve to make it better. I think that the number one thing that everybody asks me about, of course, is the wakes. What'd you guys do with the wakes? The wakes were great. Did you mess them up?
Wilbert, did you mess up the wakes?
No, we did not mess up the wakes, obviously. That was our number one focus, was wakes and then ultimately tracking and all the other things that, we're going to talk about today. But the first question I always get from everybody is, where are the wakes? Are the wakes the same? Are the wakes great? Where are they? And, I can tell you after skiing this boat for a couple of years now, the wakes are awesome.
All line lengths. We studied from, the line length that Freddie Winter needs to your dog.
Right.
So,
and that's been the trademark of this boat since day one. I don't think we want to talk about the other brands, but they'll have some really good points. But then there's always some segment of the population who really struggles with the wakes on those other products. And I think this product, since 2014, has had by far the best wakes across the board.
That's what we hear, and we try and listen to your clientele on BallOfSpray and the tournament skiers. So we've been listening they may not think we're listening, but we've been listening for 7 years now, making notes and trying to not only improve the product, but it's a whole new product. The hull's new, the deck is new, everything, the construction is new. So it's not a refresh. This is a totally new boat.
John, I think I got to tell you though, the thing that's impressed me most about this whole process has been that Mastercraft, the engineering folks at Mastercraft, really have involved the skiers, the drivers, everybody in the process. They just didn't go off and do it on their own.
Yeah.
And they really trusted all of us to step in and make suggestions and try things. And some of them worked and some of them didn't. And at the end of the day, then you get a product that is acceptable to everybody.
Yeah, it's cool that Will talks about engineering, but at our engineering department, there's a bunch of young guys there, and a lot of them were collegiate skiers, and so they had an experience with skiing, but then they listened to the Freddie Krugers and the Will Bushes and the Freddie Winters about what they need to change. But they take their education and then take what these guys' feedback is, and makes great improvements.
And us, we have some pretty crazy ideas.
Yes. Will tell you about every 2 or 3 months I call him with a terrible idea. Will, why don't you put this on the bottom of the boat? And Will goes, no.
Yeah, John, see ya.
Yeah. And speaking of that, when we get to tracking and steering, one of the improvements came from a goofy idea from one of our promo guys who used to be a dealer. So old Two Buoy Louie.
Buoy Louie.
He's bolting stuff on the bottom of his boat without asking, but it worked.
Fantastic. So I'm back in the boat with Mr. Will Bush, and one of the things that is probably really personal to Will, but is really kind of important in the new boat, is this whole cockpit area has been completely reimagined. Will, tell us all about it.
So the biggest thing we did, John, was to replace what we had before, the 7-inch screen with a 10-inch screen. Everything is right here. That's your command center. There's nothing, all the gauges are gone. All your information's across the top. All your zero-off information is here. You start looking at all your switches. Your radio is now integrated into the display. There's no separate radio, so radio standard. Ballast system is included. We have some nice big buttons that allow you to change everything back and forth. but this is your command center. We then added a nice little feature down here. I don't know if folks can see it, but your cell phone, wireless charging.
That's really slick.
Isn't that
That's
nice?
really slick.
The nice thing is when you get out, you're good to go. We've included a lot of other features, a lot of USB features now,
right?
So you can charge everything else because so many people are adding so many different things to it. We also changed the whole alignment of the driver's seat and the steering wheel and your alignment through the dash to look out through the window. It's helped to balance the boat. We've added additional storage here, down below, cup holders in the back because people were saying, hey, we need somewhere at least to keep my water, right?
Need my water bottle.
Need my water bottle, exactly right. Anyway, it's been a whole revamped area. Seat, we did change what you had asked me before. Right? The whole seat mechanism.
Right. We're not talking about that because the old boat is wonderful except one or two little things.
Well, and that was our whole goal here, is to take all those one or two little things and change them to, just make it the best boat there is.
And I think it is.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, the boat's easy to drive. Will, this isn't about what we're seeing, but what we haven't talked about previously is just how simple this touchscreen is. When I hopped in the boat to drive Abigail, I'd never really put my hands on it before, and I instantly switched from trick mode to slalom mode, got the speed right, double checked the setting. Without any instruction, it was super intuitive, and the old screen was good, but this one's better.
So you don't need an instruction manual to get through it?
I do not need instructions to get through it. I think it's really good.
Perfect.
All right, folks, I'm back in the boat with Mr. Will Bush. We are talking about construction. The way this boat is assembled is different than the previous Prostars. Will, explain.
Okay, so not to get too technical.
Please.
The old boat was built with what they call a ring deck.
Right.
Ring deck, essentially you build the hull and then you put the deck on top. This has what's now called a tub deck, which makes the boat stronger.
Right.
Essentially what you have is you now have the deck, the top of the deck, the side of the deck, and all the way down into the floor is one whole unit. It goes in the boat, and what that means is stronger construction. We've also added a yoke up in the front, which essentially brings this whole front together. So result is when you're out there on the water and you're feeling that boat pounding through, it's going to be a much solid, more quiet ride. Much stronger boat.
So what you're telling me is more of this thing's solid. It's not screwed together, glued together.
Exactly. And the thing that's kind of neat about the tub deck design is that one of the things that people have always been frustrated with are pylons.
Yeah.
Pylons, they move around, they get loose and whatever. With a tub deck, now you have an integral part of the boat where we're able to now mount this pylon into the tub deck itself. So it's mounted into the bottom of the hull and into the deck, the tub deck, and you get a much stronger pull from this pylon.
But I enjoy tightening the pylon so much.
Yeah, it's like this, busting your knuckles like I just did earlier.
Yeah, every one of my readers is like, oh yeah, we've done that. All right, construction, what else you got?
So what's kind of cool about the whole boat is, let's start up here, John. So up front,
yeah,
this is really kind of a cool feature because for any of you propeller heads that really have to service your boat.
No, wait, no, hold on. So you guys can't see this very well in the video, but so in the bow, we've taken the bow lid cover off, and there's just a flip up seat that's in front of the driver's seat, and Will now has access to what do you have access to there?
All the components that are back here, the zero-off head unit if you have to get to it. For people, for the dealers, if you got to service a boat, you got to change a cable. If you ever had to do that before, what a pain in the rear that was. Now you just get up here, flip the seat up, you got access to everything.
That's
so
awesome.
It's made service easier and it's made access easier.
Excellent.
So anyway, nice feature, up front. As we come back, to the back, we'll pass by the motor box. We'll come back to it because that's pretty unique.
That's really cool.
Think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
But kind of moving towards the back here, we went from a 26-gallon fuel tank to 32.
Right.
So it gives you a little bit more fuel, which is kind of neat. We've changed. You might take a look at the rear compartments.
Right.
Rear compartments here. They used to open up. They literally used to open up
this way,
which meant you only had access from one side or the other.
Right.
So now you can access it from there or in the boat, either way, depending. The seats are modular. They do pop out. And when the seats do come out, there's a little back pad that goes against the back. So when you're out there coaching, guess what? You can push your knees up against it, not beat your knees up.
Wow, more than that, it's just another spot it's another place on the boat not to water spot.
Well, there you go. We've actually added some cup holders in the back, as you see.
Right.
And then, folks can't see it, but on this side of the boat, we've now integrated the ski rack into the boat. We've reduced weight. We've made it much more simplistic, and it still works the same way that it did before.
Right, and I want to say, I think that's a nicer looking ski rack. The old ski racks are great. If you ever run these boats, even on a private lake without carpet or deckings, if you run the fiberglass floor, you really want the sea deck, because if you take off your ski, you'll fly around and beat up the boat. So I've used those quite a bit. Even though I'm on a private lake, the ski racks are kind of amazing.
Well, and the cool thing is, in not only reducing weight, but they're actually to make them more compact, so you walk by and you don't bust your, your ankle on it.
Oh, no, I've had some bloody toes.
You've done that before.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, kind of moving forward, one of the things that people have always complained about down here, you know, the jump switch wire, we didn't ever know what to do with it. So we now have a nice feature that allows it to just come up through the floor. And of course, now people are putting cameras here, and they're putting SurePath or some of the other devices. So you can run your wire, you know, up underneath and back up here and come up through up to your pylon.
Excellent. So what you're saying is we have a cable port by the pylon to pull whatever cable we want up
Exactly.
to there.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Very nice. So anyway, opening up the motor box, you'll see with the tub deck design, the other thing that's been really nice is that we've now recessed the motor box down into the floor.
Right.
So it's recessed down with a gasket all the way around. That old fan motor that you didn't like.
I never unplugged mine.
No?
No.
Okay. Anyway, the boat is much quieter. With the new tub deck design and the motor box sitting down in there, the sound is unbelievable in terms of reduction. So it's nice. You can talk to your skier, you can talk to your driver. You know, coaching is much easier to do in the boat. Anyway, you kind of have this interest in the...
Well, hold on. Before we do that,
Yep.
let's close this engine box.
Okay.
Turn it on. Let's hear it, right? That's pretty quiet.
Nice.
That's pretty quiet.
Which kind of brings up the other piece. Back in the back, we've lowered the swim platform.
Right.
We've lowered it about 1.5 to 2 inches, but it does two things. One, it allows you to get on the platform easier, right? But the other thing that's really done is it keeps that sound that's coming from the back of the boat trapped, keeps it quiet. So it's much more quiet when you're just out there talking to your skier behind the boat.
So onto this, without taking it apart and laboring it, to me it's kind of like the reverse of the scoops on like a 70s muscle car, right? So what's happening is there's all this heat. Tell me if I have this right. All this heat's coming out of the motor, and there's two channels in the top of the engine box, and that hot air is just automatically kind of drawn back through these exit vents. And so it's just keeping the whole engine compartment cooler at all times, which, you know, any motorhead knows is going to help with better engine performance, better horsepower, happier motor.
Exactly. The one thing that we all fight, you know, is heat inside the motor box cover.
Right.
And when it heats up, what happens is, you know, the engine doesn't run as efficiently. So the goal is to get more cool air in there. So we did a couple things. One, up front, we've added some intake scoops,
right,
that actually bring the air in. They're 4-inch pipes, you know, tubing that comes through and comes all the way through into the motor box.
So where are those intakes actually?
They're right up here in front of the right up in front of the windshield. So there's one on each side.
I always wondered about that.
Anyway, big 4-inch tubing. We had 3-inch in the old boat. We've gone to 4-inch here to bring it through. And like you said, into the motor box. So the cool air comes in. Of course, hot air rises. It rises up. And as you pointed out, we have two big, exhaust vents that go through and then allow that air to go out the back. So it actually has a natural draft effect. It takes the air right on through and right out the back.
And at speed, not to get overly techy, at speed, there's a low pressure back
draft.
here,
Yep.
and it's actually sucking the hot air out of the engine box.
Yep. And so, and even when you're sitting, you know, again, hot air rises,
I can feel it.
so it just kind of goes and keeps that cool, so you don't end up overheating your boat in the middle of summer where you are, you know, where it's 115 degrees in the middle of the day.
Right.
So anyway, that's, you know, really a great feature in terms of how, you know, innovative Mastercraft was in terms of trying to solve the problem and not add a bunch of fan noise or something else, you know.
Awesome. All right, on to the next thing.
Good.
Earlier we talked about the airflow through this engine box, which I think is really innovative. But Will, there's also some other features and design stuff we need to talk about.
So a lot of people kind of wonder why a motor box that has, you know, glass and padding on top.
Right.
So one of the things that we talked about was people want to be able to set their ski up here. They want to be able to adjust their ski.
Yep.
So this allows you to set your ski up there and not, you know, have it go sliding off the back,
Right.
you know, and some kind of fiberglass. The other thing is that with the Bimini, when it lays down, oftentimes with the older padded motor box, a lot of times it would dent the
Right.
padding, whatever, and people say, "Can you guys fix that? Figure out some way to solve the problem." Anyway, so when the Bimini comes down, they're two nice little rubber bumpers, and they'll just lay right on top, right on there. Problem solved. Done.
That's awesome. 'Cause, you know, my boat at home is covered right now, and I have a boat towel rolled up, stuck under the Bimini just to protect that engine box. No longer an issue on the 21 boat.
My wife keeps a big towel, and that towel goes in every time before that
Yeah,
Bimini goes
yeah.
down to protect that motor box. So anyway, it's a great solution to it.
All right. So awesome. And then also in the videos and pictures we've seen previously, we've seen some different colored floorings, and I think there's a little confusion about what all the options are. So we've got gray or tan decadence,
Right?
gray or tan carpet, charcoal.
Yep.
Okay, whatever, sure,
Yeah.
what Will says. And then, you know, on these boats, I don't know how well this is going to show in this video, but you could just run the fiberglass flooring. It's a little bit evolved from the previous version, and it could be any color you want.
Exactly. It's got a better texture.
Right.
The older one was a little slipperier or whatever. This one's got a better feel to it, better texture and grip. So I think the other piece is, don't forget, we also have sea deck.
Sea deck.
You forget to mention
Didn't
the
I say
deck.
sea deck?
I think you mentioned
Oh, I'm
decadence,
sorry.
carpet.
Right. So sea deck is, I mean, I like sea deck. I've had boats with the sea deck on it, and I prefer the decadence. But, you know, that's a great option if you like it. It's easy to clean, and
I think, you know, the nice thing about all the flooring options is it gives you a choice.
Right.
And if you live in some place where it's raining all the time, no flooring or just the decadence is great. If you live someplace else where, you know, you want carpet, you got carpet, you can have it your way.
you know, in my house, it gets to be 110, 115 degrees sometimes.
Yep.
And on those brutally hot days, because the fiberglass underneath my decadence is white, I'll just roll up my decadence and run the fiberglass bottom, and the whole boat is cooler. So again, it's options. Personally, I'm a decadence guy, but
I'm a carpet guy.
you're a carpet guy?
I'm a carpet guy. Unless I'm down in Florida with Freddie and Karen, in which case, if you have carpet, they're growing stuff out of it because it's wet all the time.
Carpet is the socks that you never wash.
That's true.
Okay. All right, and then we talked about the seats, right? Your wife was just lounging in these seats. They're pretty comfy.
They are.
They're pretty comfy.
Well, and the nice thing, like we said earlier, you can have the seats in or out. They
Right.
pop out really easy. We have some nice pads in there, and we'll show people those later.
Okay, awesome. I think I'm going to take a ski ride.
Let's go do it.
All right, thank you. Hey, ballers. So I've been at Shortline Lake all morning with my old friend Arn Clow, probably known you since, what, 1980?
73, John.
73. I was fresh out of diapers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I wasn't born yet.
And Will wasn't born yet, but we spent the day together in the new boat. I'm impressed. We've had some good skiing. I want to ski behind it. I'm impressed. So I can hardly wait to get mine. Arn says I'm way down the list, but we'll see about that.
Sure.
What do you guys want to say in closing?
Will?
Well, I just want to thank, really the whole team. I mean, Mastercraft for allowing the athletes and skiers and drivers and, everyone else, there. I mean, Arn, it's been a great experience. It's been 2 years out of our lives that we dedicated to the project. And the product, is the result.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. And hey, engineers back in Von Orr, thanks for Dave putting a great team together, letting Colin head this thing up. Chad Kurtz, great design work. Dotson, beautiful screen. You, Jerry, great power. All you other engineers that I'm missing, sorry about that, but when we get back, we'll ski behind your masterpiece. It's been really fun. Will, thanks for the lake today. Ballers, thanks for all your input. That really helped us. We track what you say and we listen to you. So, and John, thanks for inviting us out.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. All right, thank both of you guys. That's it. I'm going to take my little monkey and go to the hotel.
Thanks.